When the Mirari Dominion sent out their desperate distress call, they never imagined it would reach Earth. It was an accident, an ancient satellite system gone rogue, pinging long-dead relay stations with a signal meant for someone else entirely. But out in the deep black of space, Earth was listening. And when humans hear someone crying for help, they don't send words. They send ships. No one knew what to expect. The Mirari had heard whispers of humanity, primitives who had only recently joined the galactic stage. But what arrived above their skies wasn't primitive. It was a fleet, sleek, massive, and bristling with weapons unlike anything the Dominion had ever seen. The message was clear. You called, and now Earth is here. Chapter 1. A Misfire in the Void. The skies above Velen Ka, the capital moon of the Mirari Dominion, were burning. Zarkathi swarm ships had torn through orbital defenses like paper, and ground resistance was down to pockets of desperate fighters and terrified civilians. The Mirari government, once proud and sovereign, was minutes from collapse. In the central command dome, an ancient, flickering relay beacon, a leftover from a time of galactic diplomacy and long-dead alliances, sputtered to life. Plasma fire had damaged modern systems, so technicians routed communications through the oldest hardware still intact. It wasn't strategic. It was survival. "Send it," barked Commander Thalvek, his feathers ragged, eyes bloodshot. A junior technician, beak trembling, slammed the final keys to any sovereign fleet. "This is the Dominion of Mirar. We are under siege by Zarkathi warbands. We request immediate assistance. Coordinates enclosed. Repeat. Help us. We cannot last." The signal launched blindly into the dark. No one expected a reply. They certainly didn't expect that reply. Earth. Here's everything far away. In Earth-Jupiter Belt Command, the fortified asteroid station called Echo Bastion. Admiral Lanya Ortez was finishing a strategy briefing when the signal arrived. It wasn't clean. It wasn't addressed to Earth. But it used an ancient galactic diplomatic protocol, one Earth had studied and adopted in secret during its quiet rise to interstellar power. The message came through as fragmented bursts and encrypted pulses. But the urgency was unmistakable. "Unknown species, Mirari Dominion," Ortez's AI assistant explained. They used an open-channel emergency code, once common to Solari Federation. Ortez frowned. "Solari haven't responded to anything in decades, but we're listening." The room went silent. "Mobilize Hammerfall Fleet. Tell them it's not a drill. We respond now." And with that, Earth moved. The arsenal of humanity, the verdict of dawn, Earth's flagship dreadnought, left the Sol system in a storm of blue plasma. Wake, leading over 110 warships. Stealth frigates, support cruisers, repair corvettes, and autonomous drone swarms. Every component of humanity's military arsenal was brought online. For decades, Earth had prepared for possible interstellar contact. In simulations, they imagined first contact with diplomats, scholars, or perhaps silent observation. But this was an SOS, and Earth didn't ignore a cry for help. The fleet jumped across relay beacons and quantum folds. Travel time was only 12 days, record-breaking for such a large mobilization. But the humans weren't breaking records. They were breaking expectations. The Mirari had accidentally reached out to a species that didn't know how to send a small answer. First contact, first shock on the 13th day of siege. The sky above Velen Ka cracked with blue light. One by one, massive ships phased into orbit. They bore a flag unfamiliar to the Mirari, a globe circled by orbit lines, flanked by stars. Ships had no frills, no songcraft patterns like the Solari, no ornamental spines like the Valari. These were brutal, functional, beautiful in their honesty. Humanity had arrived. "This is Admiral Lanya Ortez of the United Systems of Earth," came the transmission. "We have received your distress signal. Hostile forces must withdraw immediately." Earth has responded. The Mirari stood in stunned silence. No one had expected a response. Certainly not this. One elder turned to the Chancellor. "We called for birds," he whispered, "and got wolves." Fire in the black, the Zarkathi swarm vessels noticed the change in the sky. At first, they laughed. "Earth," their commander growled in his native hissing tongue. The fringe apes with bright toys, they launched a probing attack, 6 cruisers, and a command frigate. They didn't even scratch the human picket line. Human railguns tore through hulls at relativistic speeds. Drone clusters short-circuited Zarkathi weapons. The Ghost of Avalon, an invisible stealth corvette, blinked through shields and injected nanite virals directly into enemy engines. The engagement lasted 11 minutes. No human casualties. The Zarkathi lost 2/3 of their active fleet and retreated into dark space. Humanity didn't pursue. They didn't need to. The message had been sent. Earth doesn't bluff. Negotiations with gratitude, with the sky cleared. A diplomatic shuttle descended to the surface. Admiral Ortez herself walked into the scorched ruins of the Mirari capital. Armed guards flanked her, but she wasn't here to intimidate. She was here to ask one question. "Why did you ask for help?" The Mirari chancellor, Thalvek, trembled. "We didn't mean to contact you. It was an old relay system. We thought—" Ortez held up a hand. "You asked. That's what matters." Thalvek glanced at his aides. "And you came?" Ortez smiled, thin and cold. "Humans don't ignore distress calls. You may not know us yet, but we're done sitting quietly in the shadows." She paused. "The galaxy might want to take notes. Reverberations across the stars. The Mirari incident spread faster than any diplomat could contain it. In the Kalari halls of commerce, emergency budget sessions were called. In the Solari Federation, once thought to be the Galactic Guardians, there was silent panic. In black market warlord forums and encrypted pirate networks, the words repeated. The humans showed up. What are? Shocked, the galaxy wasn't just Earth's force. It was their reason. They didn't arrive to conquer. They weren't exploiting resources or expanding territory. They came because someone asked for help. For decades, other species dismissed humanity as latecomers, obsessed with internal politics, climate change, and digital revolutions. Now they saw a species with firepower, discipline, and above all, a sense of duty. Reflections on humanity on Earth, the news broke within hours. Social media exploded. Holofeeds played footage of Zarkathi wreckage and the verdict of dawn hovering over an alien moon. Some Earth citizens cheered. We answered the call. Others questioned it. Did we overreact? But among military personnel and diplomats alike, the message was clear. This was Earth's moment. A fleet mobilized not for revenge or politics, but for a signal lost in the dark. Earth was no longer the rookie on the galactic stage. They were the ones who show up. New alliances in the aftermath. The Mirari Dominion offered Earth rare minerals and warp lane access. Earth declined most of it. We didn't come for profit, Ortez told them. Just one request. Remember who came. The Mirari added a new banner to their Hall of Allies, the Earth symbol, now etched in obsidian and lit with soft blue. Their people held Earth soldiers in reverence. Some even called them angels of war. The Zarkathi? They went silent. No further raids. No vengeance. They knew now, humans were no longer isolated, and no one wanted to be the next to test Earth's resolve. Legacy of a signal, the relay beacon that accidentally summoned Earth was preserved in Velenka's main museum. Children were taught the story of a moment when they were at their weakest, and a distant, unknown people answered. Not to rule, not to exploit, but to protect. And back on Earth, in naval academies and diplomatic briefings, the Mirari operation was studied, not for its tactics, but for what it meant. That in a galaxy full of silence and indifference, humanity heard a cry, and came, with fire and steel. Final narration. They didn't mean to call us. We weren't the intended audience, but they cried out, and we answered. Not with words, not with peace treaties, but with an entire fleet. This is what it means to be human. Chapter 11. The Galactic Reaction. In the distant Varnan Consensus, a highly advanced council of telepathic species, emergency protocols were activated not because of Earth's military might, but because of their unpredictability. No models had predicted such a decisive, large-scale response from a species with only a few decades of spacefaring activity. They moved without delay, one mind-bonded elder mused. They were not coerced, bribed, or bound by treaty, another added. They acted, because they chose to. The Varnan conclave realized something terrifying to every strategist in the room. Earth did not operate like the others. Humanity didn't need permission. They needed a reason, and reasons were far easier to find than treaties. Fear in the pirate realms, farther out, beyond the lawful star lanes, pirate warbands and mercenary cartels began scrubbing old logs. Some had targeted human cargo ships before, small, ambushes in neutral zones. Now they watched a fleet reduce a Zarkathi armada to debris in minutes. The rumors turned into cold warnings. Do not touch human trade routes. Don't even scan a Terran beacon. You raid a system Earth cares about, you die. Black market bulletin boards updated maps with new red zones. Earth's influence stretched beyond its reach, not through control, but through reputation. No one had forgotten that Earth sent a fleet not for wealth, but for honor. That scared them more than guns. Humanity debates itself. Back home on Earth, things weren't quiet.